What's going on, everybody? I got Alex Rosen with me. We are here to discuss opening night or the resuming of play of the NBA season. We got Lakers Clippers and Jazz Pelicans. Notable notes for the opening night is Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard are questionable. And for the Clippers, we have Lou Williams, Patrick Beverley, Montrezl Harrell, and Landry Shamet, all questionable as well. Alex, what are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, so like you said, a lot of questionable, appearances by a lot of players on both sides. I mean, obviously the biggest one being Anthony Davis of all those players, but Anthony Davis's injury, it's a small eye injury, nothing really major that we have to worry about. If he plays, great. That means he's all healed up and he's fine. If he doesn't play, it's really nothing too serious and nothing Lakers fans should worry about going forward with the rest of the season. On the Clippers side, though, not necessarily that any of the injuries to or absences by any of these players come Thursday night should alarm Clippers fans, but what should alarm Clippers fans is the current chemistry of the team. Because from what we've seen, the reports, most recently the whole Lou Williams situation, there just seems to be a lot of there's just no continuity with this team. There's a lot of drama, it seems like, behind the scenes. It doesn't seem like this team has a real leader, a real voice, even though Kawhi Leonard should be that guy. I mean, he's not much of a vocal guy on the court, and especially off the court, it doesn't seem like he is either. LeBron James has been the complete opposite. LeBron James has embraced this NBA bubble, and what this NBA bubble should be is a time where the team reunites with one another. They're all in this together. They're all fighting for that championship to salvage the season. And LeBron James, so far, is executing that perfectly. He's rallying the troops. He's rallying his guys. The Dion Waiters pickup, the J.R. Smith pickup are looking great for the Lakers. They bring that energy off the bench and just exactly what LeBron needs. He needs extra scores and extra shooters. And I just think, like I said, LeBron is the epitome of what you would want as a leader, especially in a time like this. And the Clippers just don't appear to have that guy right now.
Here's the thing. No one is more excited that the NBA is resuming than I am. But this game is pretty irrelevant and it's meaningless. It's going to get great TV revenues because obviously we've missed about 5 months of basketball. Lakers Clippers, which is the projected Western Conference Finals, the two top favorites in the NBA to win the title. But again, this game is pretty irrelevant and it's meaningless. The Anthony Davis notion that he may not play, I think he's still going to play. He got poked in the eye on Saturday in the scrimmage. That's not a big deal. I still expect him to play. And on the Clippers side, some of those guys that I mentioned before, they may not play. But these teams aren't at full strength right now. It's the first game back from resuming play and the first game in the bubble. So, again, it's not going to mean that much. I said this before. I'm going to say it again. I expect the Lakers to lose this game, which ultimately they will lose the season series 3-1. And it means absolutely nothing. I expect social media to blow up saying Kawhi is the best player in the world. LeBron really is washed. He doesn't have it anymore. His great days are behind them. Just like what all you guys said last year, entering this year on opening night and on Christmas Day, that he wants nothing to do with Kawhi Leonard. But we know what LeBron James' picture is. We know what Anthony Davis' picture is. We know what they are looking to do. And that is hoist the Larry O'Brien trophy at the end of the day. These 8 regular season games, all these are for is to get TV revenue, to get the players in TV revenue contracts, to hit the market, getting over 70 games, which they are accomplishing. So that's really what these games are for. And it's really for the players to get their legs underneath them. What LeBron has done in this quarantine, him keeping himself in shape, getting himself in rhythm, he looks like in these scrimmages he hasn't skipped a beat one bit. And like he said after that dunk in the scrimmage, I'm still the baddest man in the world. And that is a fact. I expect him to play poorly in this opening day. And I definitely expect him to play pretty passive-aggressive like he's done in this regular season. I expect him to do that in these 8 regular season games. He knows what he has in stake. He knows what his ability is. He knows where he is. I think his only goal is to get his teammates in rhythm, get them involved. I think one of his biggest goals is to get Anthony Davis going, get his confidence up, really run the offense through Anthony Davis so they can rely on him late in games. Because if Anthony Davis isn't the dominant force that he's been all regular season, the Lakers have no chance to win a title. I think he wants to get other guys in rhythm, see what he's working with, guys like Danny Green, KCP, now the pickup J.R. Smith, Dion Waiters. I think he's going to look to what they have in the tank, what he's working with, and then from there, once the playoffs hit, zero dark 30 is going to activate.
Yeah, no, I agree. This game, look, for Clipper or Lakers fans and just general NBA fans, don't overhype this game, the result of this game. If the Lakers win, great. I'm not going to be like, oh, Lakers are definitely better than the Clippers. And if the Clippers, run through the Lakers, I'm not going to give up on the Lakers either. you got to look at this game as just a stepping stone to the final goal for both of these teams. I don't think either team is going to give max effort. I think, if anything, the Clippers might try harder to win this game to make a statement than the Lakers will, because LeBron knows that he's got to save everything he's got for the postseason. I'm sure Anthony Davis understands that as well, that the Lakers, it's pretty much championship or bust this year for them. So they really need to save it all for the games that really count. And this game doesn't necessarily count. The season for these two teams ultimately will start in the Western Conference Finals, if that's the matchup. But it's likely that those two teams will face in the Western Conference Finals. And if that's the case, I think both teams are going to want to save, for the most part, all their energy for that series. But yeah, this game, like you said, also, it's for TV revenue. This is probably going to be, I mean, to date, this is probably going to be the most anticipated and exciting sporting event, even with some player absences, the most exciting and anticipated sporting event of 2020 so far to date. So, I mean, it's going to get the revenue. It's going to get the excitement. It's going to get the hype. I'm sure LeBron's going to have at least one or two crazy plays in the game, and everyone's going to feel like basketball's totally back. And look, it's great at the end of the day. I'm super excited that this game is happening. I'm super excited that that the NBA has figured this sort of situation out, at least for now. And it looks like they're on track to hopefully, just finish this season out, and we're going to see a champion be crowned.
The Lakers are 5.5 games up of the Clippers as we speak today. So in the 8 games, they need to, I think, win 3 of the 8 games to lock up the 1 seed. That's if the Clippers go 8-0. So that's very unrealistic. So again, this game doesn't really mean much. It's all for TV revenue, all for show, all for these guys to get their legs underneath them. I expect LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George all to play a max of 30 minutes. I do not see them playing any more than that because there's really no reason for them to. It'll look sexy, if you want to say, whoever comes out on top to make a statement. If the Lakers win, then it's over. They tied the series 2-2. LeBron's really showing that this is his postseason. And then if the Clippers win, then it's, they won the series 3-1. Kawhi Leonard's the best player in the world. They got the Western Conference Finals locked up, which is completely irrelevant because both teams know, especially at their top of their team in Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James, they know their goal is to win a title. And either team, whatever team does not win the title, it is a failure on this season. So they know at stake they're probably going to play 30 minutes a night. I wouldn't even be surprised if Kawhi Leonard does his load managing, and even LeBron. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers would lock up the 1 seed. LeBron and Anthony Davis take a game or 2 off. Same with the Clippers. If they lock up the 2 seed, if they have that in set, I expect them to take a game or 2 off maybe at the end because they know the biggest picture is the playoffs. Stay healthy for the playoffs. I get that they had 2 months off. 5 months off, not 2 months. What am I saying? Yeah, they had about 5 months off. So there's no reason for guys to rest and load manage. But all it is for is to get ready for the playoffs because I expect once playoff time starts, both stars on each team, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and LeBron James and Anthony Davis, should no questionably be playing 40 minutes a night, especially when they match up in the Western Conference Finals. If we assume that, I expect LeBron to play even more than 40 minutes. They should even push him to 42, 44 minutes. Whatever it takes to win, especially that they are this rested, there's no excuse why they can't go that much in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I agree. This is it's a fight to the finish, and both of these teams specifically, since they're probably the 2 front runners to win the title this year, need to save it all for the playoffs. But besides the Lakers-Clippers game, you also got the other game that night, which is the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Utah Jazz. Also should be a pretty exciting game. We just saw, today we heard Zion Williamson will be returning to practice, and he should be ready to go for the game. So, Zion Williamson being, emerging as one of the new faces of the NBA, I mean, he's going to put on a show most likely. He's probably going to go all out. I mean, the Pelicans are fighting for a playoff spot. The NBA desperately wants the Pelicans to make the postseason so we could potentially see a LeBron James versus Zion Williamson first-round matchup, which would be pretty awesome to kick off the playoffs. But Zion Williamson, you can expect him to put on a show. Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, they got a squad there, so you can't really count them out. I could see them definitely, running the table here and potentially sneaking into the playoffs.
For Pelicans fans, that's huge news that Zion Williamson will be returning to practice, and they need every bit of Zion if they want to make a playoff push. We know the rules in terms of getting into the playoffs. If they could get within 4 games, I believe, of the 9 seed, then they will have that play-in tournament against the 8 seed. And this is a great mark for Zion Williamson to make his case, to have a future Hall of Fame career when it's all said and done, 10, 15 years down the road. This will be a perfect opportunity, and especially for TV revenue and something we all deserve as basketball fans. We deserve a Zion Williamson versus LeBron James matchup in the playoffs. The Lakers will probably sweep them as they should, but just for TV revenue, to see some of the biggest stars in the game, the up and coming versus the guy who's been doing it for 17 years, will be phenomenal for basketball.
Like you said, Zion Williamson, who, we all suspect him to have a Hall of Fame career, and he's only going to get better from here. I mean, this is, like you said, this is a great opportunity for him early on in his career to make his mark on the league. And like you said, if we get a LeBron James, Zion Williamson matchup, I'm not going to flat out say it's a passing of the torch moment. But in hindsight, while, yes, the Lakers will most likely win that series, if Zion Williamson does some crazy stuff in that series, maybe even steals a game or two from the Lakers, it's a sign of things to come that this guy's coming for the top of the league. And it, in a sense, could be somewhat of a passing of the torch type scenario, which would be pretty awesome storyline wise for Zion Williamson's career.
No matter what we see come these playoffs, who wins on opening night, we all should just be appreciative and so happy that basketball is back. Sports are coming back. I couldn't be more excited myself, but that's going to wrap up today. Alex, I'm glad you joined me. Thank you again.
Yep, always a pleasure.